Welcome to the Wise Owl Knits Fibercast. I'm your host, Cheryl Beckrich. You can find me on my website, which is wiseowlknits.com. Just updated it from a Wix website to a Shopify website. So go on over there and take a look and let me know what you think. I eliminated some of the pages that I had that really didn't get any visitors, and I may slowly add some of that back in, but access to all of my patterns there, and also links to the Fibercast and to my Knitwise knitting tutorials, so you can find that all there. I am Wise Owl Knits with 2 S's on Instagram, 1 S on Facebook and YouTube and Rumble, and pretty much any other social media. I am on X as Wise Owl Knits also, but I don't use it very often. I just kind of sometimes go over and see what's going on in the world there. So anyway, that's where you can find me. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch today. If you like what you see, please come back again. I'd love for you to comment and like and subscribe and do all of that stuff. So again, thank you for taking the time to watch today. I really do appreciate it. I love to share my little part of the fiber world with you. Today I am wearing my Bowls and Braids Boxy. Here that is. Let me come forward a little bit so you can see the stitch pattern. It's got the bull horns here and the braids on the side. I did this design several years ago, and it's one of my favorites. I tend to wear it a lot, even though it's white, and I'm usually not very trustworthy for wearing white, especially to work. I tend to get a little dirty, but this is a superwash yarn from Knit Picks. I think it's Swish, and I think it's Swish DK. It could be worsted. Have to go back and look. One of the two. I also did a hat, Bowls and Braids hat, same stitch pattern, but not much space in between the cables. And it's a fun hat to knit, and a nice warm hat because it's so dense because of the cables. It's knit at a tighter gauge than the sweater is. I didn't want to knit the sweater quite that densely because I like the drape of a little bit looser knit on a sweater, especially a boxy sweater. So both are available on the website if you want to run over there and check those out. The Bowls and Braid Boxy and the Bowls and Braid hat. I have one finished item, and it is a baby blanket that I did for Birthline. It's folded in half, but there it is. The yarn is a Lion brand yarn that is a chenille, and of course it's variegated with the red, white, and blue. And there was a pattern on the yarn band, and it's called the waffle pattern, and that's what I used for the blanket throughout. There's no border on it, but it's a combination of knits and purls, and then a knit row thrown in every once in a while and a purl row thrown in every once in a while, and it does look a little bit like a waffle. Not a whole heck of a lot. I wouldn't have just thought waffle when I look at the stitch pattern, and it's a bit obscured when you're looking at it here. That's actually the wrong side. The right side is right there. Still, don't think it really looks like a waffle, but it's a nice pattern that keeps your blanket laying flat. no edges curling, which is always nice. No edges curling without having to do any kind of border on it. I'm not a huge fan of knitting with chenille, but I like how it feels when it's complete, and I think any baby would really love that. That will be going to Birthline in Indianapolis, so that is a charity knit to help moms in need. So my only finish this week. The other thing that I'd like to talk about, or the next thing that I'd like to talk about, is the winner of the Hold Your Knitting Close book by Sue Whitkin. That's about Paula Emmons-Fuseli, a podcaster that I've talked about pretty extensively lately because of this book. And so I ran a contest last time. You had to put a comment in the video mentioning Paula to be eligible to win. And from those comments, I just chose a random number, and that was the winner. And the winner is Cezzy. Here's Cezzy's comment, which she made 2 weeks ago. I didn't know anything about Paula until she passed, and many of my online knitting friends were saddened by her death. Since then, I've listened to some of her podcasts and collected a few of her patterns into my wish list to make at some point. So Cezzy, send me a message either on YouTube or Instagram, or I know you're on Telegram too, so you can send me a message there and just give me your address and I will get this book shipped off to you. So thanks to all of you that entered. I got a lot of really nice comments about Paula, and just was very nice to read them and to hear about other people's experiences with Paula. Here's one that I especially liked. Paula was one of the, if not the first knitting podcaster that I listened to. She opened up the world of knitting to me. I remember listening to Anthony Bourdain's story on eating his first oyster and how that opened up his world to cooking. Before that experience, cooking was just something that he did, but then it became a passion. Paula exposed me to knitting in that same way. Before her, I was dabbling in a craft but after listening to her podcast, I was really exposed to the world of knitting, the lifestyle, and the passion. My life has forever been changed for the better. I always have a very warm place in my heart for Paula, filled with gratitude. So that's from Rebecca. There are so many people that feel maybe not that exact sentiment, but just have a warm place in her heart, their hearts for Paula. She truly was a special person, and we're all richer for having the chance to interact with her online, to listen to her, or to attend one of her retreats. So congratulations, Cezzy. Be sure to send me a message so I know where to send your book, but I'm happy to get that off to you as soon as I hear back from you. So, congratulations. Okay, for my design work, I have just entered the testing phase for my Keeping Time sweater, and I've started a new Keeping Time sweater myself. This one, I'm just using 3 colors rather than 4. All of my light is with 1 color, and that's Bougie from Knitty McPurly. The blue, the navy, and is a DK from Skeins, and it's something that I've had in my stash. I think it was kind of they had maybe some extras of DK yarn that they really didn't brand as anything. It's got a generic Skeins yarn band on it. So that's something that I've had in my stash that I use. I've got quite a few colors of it, so I use it every once in a while. And the green, I'll have to link below, but I did purchase the green yarn when I met my friend Cheryl from Columbus, Ohio. We met for a weekend in Dayton, Ohio. So when I was on that trip, purchased this green yarn. And now it's come in very handy. So this is the Keeping Time sweater. It's, like I said, is in the testing process now. The tech editing is all done and I've gotten it off to my testers, and that just began a couple days ago. They have until the end of the year basically to get that finished, and as soon as they're finished, I will release that so that everybody can make the Keeping Time sweater. If you're new to color work, it really is a nice sweater to start with, though there's a lot of the color work because it's all over. It's very easy because it's knit one with one color, knit one with the other color. There's never more than 3 stitches in between the colors, and most of it is just 1 by 1. So it's good practice for learning how to keep your floats or your yarn loose enough that it doesn't pull the sweater in. And it's just much easier when it's just a short duration of each color. So if you want to give color work a try and kind of impress your friends with how good you are, the Keeping Time sweater will be a good one for that. So I've got that going. I'm also working on Wildflower in a babies, kids, and teen version. So I knit this up. I've got numbers together, but I need to get the pattern written and off to the tech editor on this. This is a 4T, and it is knit with the pink is a full skein that I had from You and I, and she's not currently dyeing, but hopefully she will be again. And then the other 4 colors are from Mystery Mouse yarn, and she had a brown bear mini set that I got. So it's got the blue, the purple, the green, and the gold. And there are some other colors in that set too, but those are the ones that I chose for this sweater. Holly from Mystery Mouse is going to be working up some kits for these, and we're going to do a knit along starting next March, so you can knit kids, babies, teen size or adult size. Also, Susan from Delightful Works is going to be making up some bags for that knit along too, so it should be fun. It'll be a nice knit to do in the spring, and then you'll have something that you can wear or your girls can wear in the spring and summer and fall. So that is the Wildflower, the kids and babies version. I've gotten a little bit of new yarn. First of all, from my friend Eleanor, who I think is clearing out her stash by giving it to me a skein or 2 at a time. These are 2 Lorna's Laces skeins, and this one is Shepherd's Sock, and it is a yarn that is from Roving, Indiana, which is a yarn crawl here in Indiana. I'm not sure if it's still going on or not. I haven't heard anything about it for a few years, but this was the 2015 colorway from the Yarn Crawl. And this is fingering weight. And then this is a bulky yarn, also from Lorna's Laces. Oh, it's not bulky, it's worsted, shepherd's worsted. But beautiful fall colors, so that may become a hat soon. And I'm not sure if this will become socks or what it will become, but it will be something lovely. Then I also am a part of the Sock Adventure Club from Sweet Mountain Crafts, Carista. And what a pretty sock set. And this is in her scree sock, 80% merino, 20% nylon, but perfect fall colors on this one. And the goodies she sent this time were really good. Of course, there's always a story that goes along with it. And this one was about getting all your fall tasks done and then having some free time to sit by the fire and knit. The goodies that came along with it this time, though, are a sweater comb. I don't know if you've seen these before, but there's a little rough edge that you can just comb over your hand knits and it gets the pills off. So that is always very handy. And then the other thing that she sent along is probably my favorite notion of all, which is highlighter tape. I love the highlighter tape. I use the highlighter tape often, not just on my knitting patterns, but on other things too. It is just a really handy dandy tool, and it's sort of like Post-it notes where you can use the same stickiness over and over. You can highlight what row you're on, and then when it's time to move to a new row, you just peel it off and move it up your chart or your written instructions, and just keeps your place really well, and it lasts for a long time. You can use it over and over again. So a roll of highlighter tape, if you're judicious about it, will last you for a long time. It's just a great thing to have. Another thing that I wanted to talk about this time was the book that I'm reading. It's All Saints Day. Went to Mass this morning. I work at a Catholic church, and since the pandemic started, I have been the official recorder of Mass. And I started off doing it with my phone, and then we got a camera and took forever to figure out the sound, but we finally did that, and we've been recording our Masses and then putting them on our YouTube channel since then. So this morning, because it's a holy day, I recorded the school Mass, and the third graders all dressed as saints and sang a song. It was beautiful. My current favorite saint is Saint John Paul II. And I'm reading this book about him. I'm only about halfway through it. I don't do a lot of book reading. I mostly do audiobooks, but this particular book about Pope John Paul II is not available as an audiobook. It should be, because I would have gotten through it much, much faster. He is just an amazing man, and I always really liked him, and I liked that he was outdoorsy, and he liked camping, and he liked skiing, which, you know, made him feel like a regular person to me. But since reading this book and finding out a lot more about him and his struggles during World War II and the persecution of the Catholics in Poland. Just made me admire him so much more. And like I said, I'm only about halfway through, so I have a lot more to learn. I'm always learning. The other thing I was going to say about my job is I've been a Catholic for about 20 years, maybe a little bit longer. And I've been working at the church for 12 years. Almost every week, I learn a new Catholic word that I didn't know before. It's like there is an endless supply of terms and new ones pop up all the time. And I can't think of an example right now, but I'm going to try and incorporate my new Catholic word in my podcast from now on, because it really is kind of fun to learn a new vocabulary, and it's just amazing that I haven't heard all of these before. Maybe if I grew up Catholic, it would be different, but I don't know. I think the girls that I work with are kind of the same way, though they were all raised Catholic. One last thing, when I was watching Texas Peach Knits this week, she had a really good idea of using saint medals as stitch markers or progress keepers. And that got me thinking of, what a good idea that was. I've got so many stitch markers and progress keepers that I don't really need anymore, but I have these tiny saints and they're little plastic saint charms, and I always keep them on my key ring. I have a St. Patrick, I have a Mary. This is the special edition Pope John Paul II, and you can see he's wearing his sunglasses and he's got his skis with him. So I think I may reappropriate it to go with my knitting and use JP2 as a stitch marker. And as I do that, or as you use any saint medal with your knitting as a progress keeper or a stitch marker, then you can use that to help you pray while you knit. You pray for a specific person or a specific thing. So just a little bit of my Catholic journey, which is ongoing, that I wanted to share with you today. I really appreciate you watching. I know it was a little short this time, but that's okay. This is what you get. If you like what you see, please subscribe. I have this jingle going through my head of Mike Rowe singing his little barbershop quartets jingles to get people to like and subscribe his podcast. I can't sing like that, but if you like the podcast, please subscribe, please like, please leave me a comment. I love hearing from you all and interacting with you. And like I've said a million times before, I appreciate you being here watching, and come back again next time. It'll probably be another couple of weeks, but I'll see you then. Thanks. Bye-bye.